Hey guys, it's Phone Reno. You're watching our video review of the Motorola Flipout, which is available through AT&T, sporting a contract price of $79.99, and has that interesting form factor that we checked out with the European version. So we'll check this one out and see what it has to offer. Now, in its closed form, you get a really good compact design with the Flipout, but just like as its name implies, you flip open the display to reveal its QWERTY keyboard. Now, it's constructed out of plastic all around, but the hinge mechanism feels pretty decent. Not the most responsive, but it's good enough for this type of handset. Powering on the handset for the first time, you're going to be greeted to its 2.8-inch QVGA display, so that's 240 by 320 pixels, and has support for 262,000 colors. We have to admit, though, the clarity isn't there just because of the lower resolution, and does suffer from some poor viewing angles. Luckily, though, it is pretty responsive. Right below it, you have your touch-sensitive buttons, so you have the menu, home, and back, and you have the full QWERTY keyboard. It has a nice design. You have also a dedicated row for numbers, and also a directional pad, and we like the feel of it, very distinctive too. On the left-hand side, you have the volume rocker, and on the right side, you have the micro USB port. On the top, you just simply have a 3.5mm headset jack with the dedicated power button, and on the back, you have the 3.1 megapixel camera with the self-portrait mirror, and removing the back cover will give you access to the battery, SIM card slot, and the micro SD card slot. The Motorola Flipout is in fact a motor-blower device, so you have Motorola's unique experience on board. So if you're into social networking, it'll definitely fit your needs. It's Android 2.1, powered by a 720 MHz TI OMAP processor, so it might not be the fastest out there, but it'll definitely get the job done. The messaging experience is exactly what you expect it to be, but if you don't like the physical keyboard, you have the option using the on-screen one. It is rather cramped, and it's definitely not the most responsive. Thankfully, though, you can always resort to using the physical one, which does offer the best experience. Most people will probably get by with the web browsing experience on the Flipout. As you can tell, it loads up our page here perfectly. Unfortunately, though, the QVGA does make everything look kind of garbled, and it's not the most responsive, as you can tell that there's a little bit of slowdown with it. But at least it'll get the job done. Don't expect much out of the 3.1 megapixel camera on the Flipout just because it produces some soft and dull looking photos. And on top of that, with video quality, it has a maximum shooting resolution of 352 by 288, so it's not the most detailed out there. Even though it might not sport the loudest speaker on any device you've checked out, thankfully though, the audio quality from the speaker on the Flipout is rather decent. It's more than bearable, especially if you're going to be listening to a lot of music for an extended amount of time. Calling quality on the Flipout isn't the best just because there's a lot of static and background noise on our end that we could hear. And on top of that, our callers' voices did sound somewhat crackly. Luckily, though, our callers did say our voice did sound distinct and clear on their end. When I switched to the speakerphone, though, it made voices sound very muffled. When compared to other AT&T handsets, we just noticed that the Flipout doesn't have a solid connection to network, which is evident with the amount of bars it's displaying in high coverage areas. As far as battery life is concerned, for light users you should be able to get a good day's use out of it, but heavy users are probably required to charge it every day. Now, by far, the biggest thing going for the Flipout is its interesting design. It's very different from out there. And, of course, its price for $79.99 contract really can't beat the functionality it offers. It has everything you expect out of any Android device, and it does look pretty good with its keyboard. So if you'd like to learn more about the Motorola Flipout or for all the latest cell phone reviews, news, specs, and information, you can check us out at phonereno.com.